Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some different ways and some really good tips on how to outplay other players and just to win more gunfights in Fortnite. I have one tip specifically that is really good on outplaying a lot of players. I mean, it doesn't even matter if they're a beginning player or if they're a really skilled player. This tip is going to work on everybody in Fortnite, and it's a very effective way to maneuver around players and just overall win more gunfights against those type of players. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me supported as a creator on the item shop. All you need to do this is go to the item shop, hit X, type in Young Humor. That's all you have to do, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be talking about how to win more gunfights in Fortnite, and specifically give you guys some really good tips on how to outplay certain type of players, whether they're a good player, mediocre player, average, or even a really good player. There's a lot of different ways you can go about situations and different ways you should play those situations. So I'm going to be going into all of that, and to start out, when it comes to fighting those newer players, and because of course when it comes to the newer players, you have to play it differently than skilled players, so you always got to analyze who you're going into a gunfight with. Of course, if they have a soccer skin, then you can just assume that they're going to be building, like crazy, double 90s all over the place. But if you're going against a bad player, one thing that's just to keep in mind is when you're going against those type of players, they're really predictable. I mean, they really are. So like a lot of the players that you go against are new players. You really just notice you have those gunfights where you're built up a little bit. Maybe you're like 2 stories above them, maybe you build yourself up a ramp, and you look down at them and they're just staring back at you. Doesn't even build, don't do anything, they're just staring at you with their shotgun or their AR out, and for a second you peek out, you're gonna have bad bloom and they're just gonna laser you in the head. Happens every single time. So when it comes to fighting players like that are really predictable, it's really obvious and really easy to outplay those type of players. Because when you go against a better type of player, a really good player, you have to play it differently, because a lot of those players have seen a lot of different things, so they know the type of things that you're going to do. So when I'm going into situations, I know pretty much what 99% of players are going to do. And when I lose gunfights, it usually isn't because I had no idea what they were doing or they did something that I've never seen before. So real quick, I'm going to give you guys a really good tip. I mean, this works on any type of player, beginning, average, or even really good player. This works really well, but I think it works even the best on those lower skill players. And when you're playing public matches, I mean, the majority of the lobby, I say 7 out of 10 people in that lobby are going to be pretty below average. They're not going to be the best type of players. They're not going to be building all over the place, doing triple 90s, or even some crazy edits. Most of them are going to be mediocre at best. So here's a tip that you guys can use. It's very good and very effective, something that I use every single game, and you guys can definitely benefit from this tip as well. So say in the situation you're fighting a guy, or maybe you're about to get into a gunfight and they're in front of you, and you want to take them out with your AR or whatever the case may be. So they're in front of you, they might be below you, or they are across from you, built up at the exact same height, and so you want to go for the kill on them. There's a few different options and a few really good ways to take them out. And when it comes to Fortnite, bloom could be a real pain. I mean, you could honestly be peeking, shooting right at him, not hit a single shot, and then you could get double headshot and lose all your health instantly. So it is very tricky for peeking, because especially as you guys can see right here, I have to come up so far over my ramp to get a shot off. And from this perspective, from the other person, they can see me perfectly. They can go for headshots, get a clean shot on me. And from my perspective, I'm going to be hitting my ramp every single time. So it is very difficult to go for shots. You have to peek so hard, and you have to peek very high over your ramp. So it can be very difficult, and it gives the other person a major advantage who's on the low ground trying to peek over and go for a shot. And crouch peeking is almost unusable on console, because it's very difficult to start crouching and uncrouching and take a shot. And on PC, it's definitely a lot easier, but it's very risky, because you definitely have to peek over very hard in order to take the shot because of the updates they have in the game. So when you're going for a shot on a person who's below you or across from you, the best tip and the best thing that I can give you guys is, so there's a few different ways you can do it. And when you're peeking around a side, which I normally would do, you always got to remember to peek over that right hand side, because you definitely have a lot more space and a lot more leg room when it comes to going for the shot. And when you're going for a shot on another player, especially against a lower skilled player, so pretty much the majority of players you're going to be running into in Fortnite. So when you're looking down them, they're going to be looking straight up at you, or maybe they may build towards you. And if they're just looking up at you trying to go for a shot, maybe they have a sniper rifle or whatever they have, coming from different angles is the best tip I can give you guys when it coming into the situation and just overall being a dominant player and going for the kill. So there's a few different ways you can go about it coming from different angles. So it's just really good to keep in mind. So say you peek over the top of the ledge, right? You go for a shot on a guy below you. So you peek over the top of the ledge. 10 times out of 10, every single time, they're going to look straight up at you and they're going to be looking at the top of the ramp because that's where you last peeked at. So a lot of times you're not going to be able to see if the ramp's fully built. It's going to be very hard for them to notice you if you go down a little bit because they can't see right through your ramp. So if you go down a little bit to the base of your ramp and peek over the right hand side, you're usually going to be able to get at least 1, 2, or maybe even 3 shots off before they even notice you because they're still going to be looking at the top part of your ramp. And that's just a really good tip. I mean, it could be done in a lot of situations. Maybe you could build a little bit to the left, or maybe you could build a little bit to the right, and you can kind of come from different angles. Maybe you can shoot at the bottom, maybe you shoot at the top, maybe come from the side, and just kind of mixing it up is going to be very hard for the other player to predict you, and it's going to be very hard for them to get a shot on you because they're not going to know exactly where you're coming from, and just overall they're going to get confused, and you're going to have a really good shot. And a really good tip I can give you guys is say you're in a 1x1 like this, or you're boxed up, you can edit along the right side, edit the top 3 squares, and it's going to give you a really good angle on the player you're going against, because when you're on that right hand side you definitely have a lot more protection than if you have than just peeking straight over, because when you peek straight over you're really exposing a lot of your body. So if you come from the side, you're going to have a really good angle on the other player, and majority of the times you're not even going to be realizing it. And as well, I think it's definitely a little bit easier to get your shots off quicker, and the best part about it is they're not going to notice where you are. So this is definitely something that I use a lot more on players who are less experienced. Better players are usually just going to try to build up or try to go for a shot like that. But for lesser skilled players who are just camping at the bottom of you, like I said at the beginning of this video, they are very predictable. They're just going to be looking up at you all the time. So if you peek over the top of the ramp, they're going to expect you every single time to keep peeking over the top of that ramp. And sometimes it's not a very bad shot, but a lot of the times when it comes to Bloom and the way Bloom works in this game, players like that are just going to nail you every time. So if you don't want to take damage, if you want to try to avoid taking damage, try to go for a shot, get more tags on them than they do to you, or maybe not even take any damage at all, coming from a different angle is definitely the way to go. And the first thing I like to do is just go down a little bit on my ramp and then peek around that right hand side, just because it's the easiest thing to do. You don't have to do too much for it, and it's just really simple to do. Anybody can do it. And that's just a really good tip I can give you guys when it comes to killing those players. And it even works on better players too, because a lot of better players, they're going to be expecting players to be very predictable as well. So if you do things that a lot of players don't realize is happening, you're going to be outplaying every single player in the game. And you're really going to be winning way more gunfights this way, because if you're going into gunfights doing different things, coming from different angles, they're not even going to be ready for it all. You're going to get shots off left and right. And a lot of times when they have 200 HP, you probably don't want to challenge straight up all the way. Just try to go for it, all of their health at one time. Just peeking around the corner, maybe getting 1, 2, or 3 shots off at most, and then closing up the window you made, or maybe do anything else, and then come from a different angle. They're going to be really confused, and it's going to be very difficult to get any tags on you at all. And one last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to winning gunfights, like I mentioned earlier, you want to be as unpredictable as possible, going for those different type of shots, different type of angles. And one other thing that's really good when it comes to going for shots and becoming unpredictable is using the deagle in the game. And I've talked about the deagle a lot of my videos. I did a accuracy video on the deagle, so if you guys haven't seen that video, make sure you guys check it out. It's a really good video. I'd recommend it. And when it comes to using the deagle in Fortnite, it's very effective. And maybe you're not that good with the deagle or don't have the best deagle aim in the game, but it doesn't really matter, because when it comes to the deagle, I use it a ton against structures, because most of the people in this game, when they're building, they're going to be building out of wood. And with the deagle being one shot to wood structures, you're going to have a major advantage when it comes to going for surprise shots. Maybe they're in a box, you can shoot at one angle, maybe they're turbo building that wall, you can come from the side, shoot that wall, put your wall, and you can do it really quickly, and they're not going to be noticing it. And that's something I do all the time against players who are also boxed in, is I'll shoot at one of their walls, right, and they're going to be sitting there turbo building, and then immediately I'll try to switch walls, try to shoot another wall. And when it comes to the deagle, I can just pop out the wall instantly and try to go for the wall replace. So if I'm constantly going for different walls, they're not going to know exactly where to turbo build, and I'm gonna have a really good chance of eventually getting one of the walls and then going for an edit play. So maneuvering around and coming from different angles when they're boxing is also a really good way to catch people off guard. And with that being said, that's wrap it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this video helped you guys. And if you guys could drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications so you're notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.